Hello, I am Mehul Agrawal, a data engineer with QBurst. In this video, I'm going to talk about Pi Spark Cli, a handy programming tool being developed by engineers at QBurst to ease the process of setting up new PySpark projects. When you are starting a PySpark project, you may have trouble creating the initial configuration files and setting up the correct structure based on the project type. This is a daunting task for new programmers, and for people with experience, it can be a very time-consuming process. PySpark Cli streamlines this process by creating the structure of the project along with setting up the required configuration files. You can choose from multiple templates depending on your project type. PySpark Cli leverages PySpark support for Spark SQL, which allows easy data integration and management. PySpark Cli also supports Spark Streaming module and allows you to integrate the additional files required for streaming projects at the time of project creation itself. We have included test modules which you can use for better understanding of the projects. They will also help you to gain a better understanding of the project structure. By giving you a head start, PySpark Cli improves your efficiency as a programmer. Having the template as a starting point, you don't have to worry about starting from scratch. If you are new to PySpark, please check out our introductory video, where we cover the basics of PySpark and concepts like cluster computing. Now let's switch over to a terminal and see how we can use PySpark Cli. So let's start by creating a virtual environment. Once the environment has been created, we can simply go to the environment folder and use bin activate to activate a virtual environment. Now I am assuming that you have Java 8 Open SDK installed in your systems. If that's not the case, please go ahead and do so. For using PySpark Cli, we can simply use pip3 install PySpark Cli. This should install the required packages in your system. On successful completion, you should get a message like this, successful install, and you can see the version number as 1.0.0. Now we can go to Python 3, import PySpark Cli and check the version number. As you can see, the version number is 1.0.0, which is the latest version that we have released yet. Now if we type PySpark Cli --help, you can see all the commands which are available to us. So let's create a project. For creating a project, we need to type PySpark Cli create and the name of the project. Let's call it demo. Once the project has been created, you'll get a message like this. Now to run this project, we can use PySpark Cli run command. So this should run the created project. On successful completion, you should get a hello world message as output. Now to test the project that we just created, we can type PySpark Cli test and the name of the project. Let's do that. As you can see, the test cases are running. And on successful completion, we get an output like this. Now let's look at the structure of the project. As you can see, this is the demo project which we created, and inside this we have a folder called tests, and in that we have some test jobs. These are the jobs which are actually executed when we run the test command. Now in some cases you might have multiple test files and you might not want to run all of them at the same time. So to run a specific test file, what we can do is type the previous command PySpark Cli test demo and add -t followed by the particular test case that you want to run. In this case, I have a test job, ETL test job. So to run this test file, I need to type its name over here. This will execute only the specified test file. Again, on successful completion, you should get some success message like this. Now it is also possible to create some streaming projects in PySpark Cli. To create a streaming project, we can type PySpark Cli, create some project name, followed by -t streaming. This creates a streaming project for us. Let's check its structure. Here, as you can see, inside the streaming project, we have a streaming folder which contains the files required for streaming. So let's try to run this. To run a streaming project, we simply need to type PySpark Cli stream, the name of the project, followed by the particular file that you want to execute. In this case, it's Twitter stream. Here you can see listening on port 5555. So let's open a new tab, go to the same file location and run this PySpark Cli run and a streaming project. Here you can see some data being processed. This is the data which we are actually getting from Twitter feed. So to look at this data, let's view our file manager. So if you go to your file manager, you will see a folder of tweets. If you open this, you will see multiple files which are actually being created by a running stream. Let's open one of the files. And here you can see these are some of the tweets which are there on Twitter. The current version of PySpark Cli provides a few templates and support for streaming projects. Currently we are working on integrating databases with the created projects. There are plans in pipeline to add support for other PySpark modules like MLlib and GraphX. We would like members of developer communities to add new functionalities to PySpark Cli so that we can collectively further this technology. You can use the contribution link to contribute to the PySpark Cli project. For more information on PySpark Cli, please click the documentation link in the description. This brings us to the end of the video. Thank you for your time.